Once a month I receive an update from Google Maps that shows me where I've been, how long I've been in the car, how far I've walked. It'll be interesting to see what the most recent update looks like. My movements have been very limited to a small local circle. And this is true for many of us. We find ourselves confined to our homes. And I want to say a little bit about how we might cope through God with this situation that we find ourselves in. And in the Bible, it's interesting, there are people who experienced isolation and yet found God in their loneliness. I want to quickly look at the Apostle Paul. He was a man who travelled widely in the Roman world, but at times he found himself confined to a prison cell. And how did he get by in those circumstances? Well, we know from some of his other writings that he did look to the Lord, and there are just three things that I want to flag up. Firstly, he knew that God was not far away. In the book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 27, it says this: "He is not far from any one of us, for in him we live and move and have our being." So we can see there that he understood God was very close. Secondly, he had God's presence in his loneliness. And Paul the Apostle experienced isolation and desertion and abandonment even from some of his close friends. But he said this, he said, "But the Lord stood by me and strengthened me." Isn't it wonderful how the Lord can do that? You know, there is a psalm that says, "Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will take me up." Jesus promised that he and his Father would come and make their home with us. God is very close to us. And lastly, he knew God's strength. He had God's strength in him. It tells us in Philippians 4 that in his different circumstances he could say, "I can do all this through him who gives me strength." So remember those few things. God is not far away, he is near. God's presence is with you, and God's strength is in you. Don't be discouraged. Be strong in the Lord by believing these words, trusting that these things are true. Talk to God. He's right there with you. I do look forward to seeing you all again soon. I look forward to the day when we can meet together as we always have done, worship God together, encourage one another and strengthen one another in our faith in the Lord.